Welcome to Ohio Airgun Shooter. I recently made a trip to my local outfitter store where they sell air guns, paintball guns, airsoft, and other air gun merchandise. And I came across these Crosman high velocity lead-free pellets. These are made in Hungary, although the case is made in China. Now, I have used this kind of pellet before in .22 caliber, but they were labeled as RWS lead-free pellets, and from what I believe, these are made by a company called Skenko out of Hungary. So I'm pretty sure they're the exact same pellets, just they have different labeling for each brand name. Yeah, trying to get them out of the package and they flew right out of my hand. I kind of like the see-through lid, and it does seem to snap on very tight. That way, in case you drop the can, the lid shouldn't fly off. Therefore, you have pellets everywhere. But what these pellets are basically just a plastic sailboat with a metal projectile inserted in them. They are a lightweight lead-free pellet, and the package said that it contains less than 1% of lead. And with only being 5.4 grams claimed, that is supposed to increase your velocity by 20% over lead pellets. Anyhow, I'm gonna take a few of my air guns and see what they'll fit in, and then we'll do some velocity testing of what I select to use. I've already kind of selected 3, but it looks like they won't fit into the CP88 style cylinder revolver style magazines. So they point out the point protrudes out the front, therefore they won't work. So the 2 air guns that I've selected are the Umarex Ruger Mark IV. It's a break barrel spring piston. It has a claimed velocity of up to 320 feet per second with lead pellets. And then my old Crosman 1377. It's a bolt action multi-pump. You can pump it up to 10 times, and it has a maximum velocity of up to 600 feet per second. As claimed by the owner's manual and other specifications that I've seen online. I haven't chrony tested either of these. I've actually bought them before I even got my X radar chronograph, so any of these velocity numbers will be new to me. So, and now to backtrack just a little bit, I wanted to see if maybe these would even fit in my Crosman 1077 magazine, but again, it's too shallow, so they definitely won't fit. But I have this Umarex Ruger 1022, and the rotary style magazine seems to be plenty deep enough to take and seat these pellets. So you can see here the tip doesn't protrude out the front, so it should index freely. So maybe we'll have to try them in the Ruger 1022 CO2 air rifle in another video. Now the weight on these pellets is listed as 5.4 grains. So I'm just going to take my scale here and weigh a few of them and get an actual weight of what they are before we do any velocity testing. This scale that I purchased is a pretty nifty little scale. It has grains, grams, diamond weight, carats, and I think it weighs in ounces as well. but it's pretty good scale, and it's very handy when you need to weigh your projectiles. As you can see here, the first one comes in at 5.66 to 5.68 grains. So that's a little heavier than the stated 5.4 grains. So we'll weigh a few more of them and see what we get here. 5.92. So this one's pushing towards 6 grains. Pellet number 3, 5.76. Pellet 4, 5.80. Let's try it again here. 5.80, 5.8. So they're coming in at what? 5.6 to 5.9, 5.7 to 5.9. So we'll just kind of meet it in the middle and call them at 5.8 grains. For control pellet, I'm going to be using the RWS Hobby. They're 7 grains and they are lead. They're a flat-nosed pellet, or I guess you'd say a wad cutter. But they're one of the lightest that I have in lead. So we'll use those at a we'll use these as our control pellet. And I'll be shooting at this cardboard box, which is stuffed with plastic shopping bags. First, we'll shoot the RWS Hobbies, and we'll start with the Ruger Mark IV. And again, it's a brake barrel, spring piston airgun. And it has a claimed velocity of up to 320 feet per second with lead pellets. We'll see how close we can get to that with these RWS Hobbies. 288 feet per second. Yes, this Ruger Mark IV does have an automatic safety, which engages every time you cock the gun. Second shot up to 296 feet per second. So we are approaching at least 300 feet per second, just a tad underneath it. Down a bit to 290 feet per second. $294 feet per second. That one came in at another 290. So here are your averages. That was with the RWS Hobbies. Now the Crosman lead-free pellets. 5.4 grains, 5.7 to 5.9 grains weighed. We're going to average it at 5.8 grains. Ruger Mark IV brake barrel is a very easy gun to load. And to be honest with you, it's quite enjoyable to shoot. First shot with the Crosmans are 378 feet per second. I had to change the targets because I use my phone to record, and I was having trouble with it focusing. I don't know if I was maybe just it was zoomed in too close, but I changed it out to just a blank sheet of construction paper. Second shot, 388 feet per second. So far with these lightweight Crosman lead-free pellets, we are exceeding the 320 feet per second claimed velocity. However, that was with lead pellets. These drop into the loading chamber very easily. They're not tight at all. That was at 396 feet per second. Another 378. Another 396, and that was a sixth shot. I wanted to see if we could go up from that 378. Now my Crosman 1377. Again, it's a bolt action multi-pump, and you can pump it up to 10 times. However, I'm going to begin with just 7 pumps because I'm not sure how powerful this will be, and I don't want to shoot through anything. Even though my backstop consists of that box with the plastic shopping bags balled up really tight, and then I have another piece of cardboard, and then I have another cardboard box with more shopping bags and about a 1/4 inch piece of plywood inside of that as a backstop. Here's the first shot. 7 pumps. 524 feet per second. This is with the RWS Hobby pellets. They are 7 grains and they are lead. Again, this is a control pellet that I'm using just to get a standard into velocity. Shot number 2, again, another 7 pumps. (526 feet per second). Just a little side note, I bought this gun in 2007 and it has held up very well and is really doing a good job at maintaining velocities. 522 feet per second, so that's down a bit. Probably a heavier pellet. These RWS Hobbies come in at 7 grains, however, I did not get an actual weight on them. Another 526. And I'm only pumping the Crosman 1377 up to 7 pumps. However, you can pump it up to 10. That one came in at 528 feet per second. That, again, was the RWS Hobbies. Here are your averages. Next, the Crosman high velocity lead-free pellets. These are made in Hungary, and I believe they are made by the company called Skenco. They are a lightweight metal alloy with a plastic jacket, or I guess you would say sabot or sabot, however you say it. They come in at 5.4 grains. However, I weighed them and they fall between 5.7 and 5.9. So we'll say 5.8. (572 feet per second). That came in at the same. Now let's take it up to 8 pumps. Lost count for a second. Up to 592 feet per second with just one extra pump. These pellets, they load very nicely. They just drop right into the loading chamber and slide right into the breech. Actually broke the 600 feet per second mark, so that one came in at 602 feet per second. So that's the highest velocity yet. And that's with just 8 pumps. Down to 598, so just under 600 feet per second. Probably a heavier pellet. So here are your averages. That was velocity testing with the RW's Hobbies and the Crosman lightweight, lead-free 5.4 grain pellets using the Ruger Mark IV by Umarex. Again, it's a brake barrel, spring piston, and then the Crosman 1377, also known as the All-American bolt action multi-pump pneumatic air pistol. And by the way, I always store my multi-pumps with 1 pump of air in them. Next up, I want to try taking it up to 10 pumps, which is max velocity, using the Crosman lightweight lead-free pellets. See what kind of velocity we can achieve with that. Number of pumps, which is of course the max pumps for the Crosman 1377. (626 feet per second). So we've already exceeded the claimed FPS or velocity. However, I believe that claim is with lead pellets. However, we are achieving over that with lead-free lightweight pellets. But the question is, how stable are these pellets at that speed? That one bumped up to 632 feet per second. And we're approaching 7 joules of energy. At that velocity, I'm curious as to see how well these are accurate target-wise. I mean, I don't know if they'll tumble, but maybe we'll have to do that in another video later on. This is just velocity testing. Another 626 feet per second. Pumping isn't all that difficult. I mean, once you start to approach 8, 9, 10, it gets a little harder, but it really isn't that bad. It might be difficult for younger shooters, but for an adult, it's really not that bad. I think that 10th pump comes in at about 30 pounds of pressure, but it doesn't seem to be that bad. That one came in at 628 feet per second. So again, we're staying above the 600 feet per second velocity with these lightweight pellets, and the energy is nearing 7 joules. I would believe that's enough energy to probably take like a chipmunk, maybe a small squirrel. That one went back up to 632 feet per second. Here are your averages, and I'm going to try one shot with the RW's Hobbies. Again, these come in at 7 grains. However, I didn't weigh them, and we will do 10 pumps to try to achieve max power or velocity. That came in at 590 feet per second, and according to the calculator, we went over 7 joules. Not bad for a 15, 16-year-old air gun. I can safely give it a thumbs up. It definitely achieved the velocities that were claimed, even though, you know, they weren't with lead. Still, you got up to over 600 feet per second with 10 pumps. Now this is, like I said, my backstop, my target. Nothing seemed to have gone through, so the plastic chopping bags definitely did the job. Now I'm going to do a little penetration test with the Crosman lead-free pellets. I'm using a coffee can with a tin bottom and then just an aluminum beer can. Budweiser. Don't worry, it's not Bud Light. My distance is about 6.5 yards. This is in my basement. It's in a controlled environment, and I have about that distance to shoot. I'm gonna just use the Ruger Mark IV, because I'm pretty confident the 1377 would definitely penetrate both of these. So we'll use the lower powered Ruger Mark IV, because I haven't really done any penetration tests with it yet. It's a fun little gun. I mean, it's lightweight. It's very backyard friendly, and my 11-year-old daughter, she enjoys shooting it because it's kind of smaller. It's got a smaller grip, so her hand fits around it perfectly, and it's very easy for her to handle. Plus, the automatic safety is a plus with the young shooters. And these lead-free pellets would probably be even better for her, especially the younger ones. They always like to put their hands in their face or their mouth or whatever, but and they don't always wash their hands, because I definitely recommend washing your hands after handling any type of lead pellet. They seem to be penetrating. However, I occasionally hear one of the sabots kind of ricocheting back towards me. So it's going to be interesting to see what exactly has taken place here. And a side note, when shooting at like aluminum cans, tin cans, etc., the projectiles passing through does create sharp edges. So just make sure your younger shooters handle them with care, or better yet, don't let them handle them at all. Just take care of them and dispose of them yourself. Five shots to the tin bottom of the coffee can, and seems like they all went through. One actually got lodged into the plastic lid. They all passed through the beer can. However, I missed a couple times. Seemed to shoot high over top of it. My wife always wants to throw these away. However, they make great targets. One man's trash is another man's target, I always say. Ah, the fresh smell of coffee. They seem to have captured them pretty well. Look how tiny this projectile is, and it doesn't seem to be deformed at all. Wonder if I found the jackets, if I could reuse these at all. Probably better not to try to use them. A few seconds later. Sorry about the pause here. I walked over to see if there was any projectiles laying around. I did find one. I think one of them was laying back here behind the targets. So yeah, there's one there. So that accounts for what, 4 of them. So the 5th one might have went into the larger cardboard box, which contains the 1/4 inch of plywood. So yeah, it seems like they all penetrated. Here again is the one that got stuck. Look how tiny these are. Wow. Very lightweight. I think they're what, a zinc alloy. Again, the package just says they contain less than 1% lead. However, they are very light. So there you have it. The Crosman lightweight, high velocity lead-free pellets. They were just something that I came across while shopping at my favorite local outfitter store, and just wanted to try them out. Please like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.